Welcome to the Co-Authoring Chronicles podcast, 2 voices, 1 tale.
Hey everyone, welcome to today's episode. I'm Helen Corvis and I'm here with my co-author.
Everyone, it's Steaphan again, and we are excited about today's topic.
That's right. So as we all know, Kindle Vella has announced the shutdown date in February, and we thought what would be most helpful right now to all of our audience is to discuss what your options are for a new platform. All right, so let's get into the details. Today, what we want to discuss is the very first option that many of us originally started with, which is DIY self-publishing. And when we talk about self-publishing, we literally mean you're doing all the work. And so there's a lot of stuff involved in this. So this will be a 2-part episode. Today, we'll be covering the business strategy for self-publishing, and that'll include a description of the revenue models, how to market and build audience, as well as some monetization strategies. And then in the part 2 of this episode, we'll be covering the technical components of self-publishing. So, and that will be things like website setup and management, how to do content delivery and user access, leveraging those analytics and feedback that you need to tune your offerings, and also a little bit about how to grow and continuously improve. So it will be, I think, a good talk. I'll have to admit, I'm not sure I often hear about these things in podcasts. So I'm pretty excited about it. As I said. So let's start today, business strategy. Let's start with revenue models. Steaphan, let's rock.
All right, let's get into it. I'm rolling my sleeves up because this whole topic is near and dear. Some of you may know I run the IndieAuthors.Social, which is all about do-it-yourself self-publishing as an author. So I'm really passionate about this, though I will say that this is not for the faint of heart. Some of these tasks require some level of technical work, some level of just taking time to do these things. That famous saying for authors, you either have more time or more money. If you're in the more time, these are great things to learn. You might, have a roadmap that may take weeks or months to implement this. And if you have more money or a combination of a little bit of time and a little bit of money, you might hire out some help to do some of these things. Getting into revenue models, though, you've got the main option, just like all serial fiction sites. There's the donationware concept, and there's the subscription-based model. Subscriptions we all know and love, I guess. It seems to be the ongoing fad in today's world. Everything's got subscriptions, and so why not do that for our serial fiction? Whether you use a service on your own self-hosted site, I mentioned in the last episode using things like Squarespace, which has a commerce platform to offer subscriptions that hooks up to various billing sites. You could use something like MemberSpace or Patreon, depending on how you want to do your subscription. Is it like a donation-based subscription, so on? There's some good benefits to that. Did you want to cover the benefits, Helen?
Well, sure. So I think we've mentioned before, one of the nice things about a site like Patreon, for example, is it's geared to more than just, it's not strictly literary or content distribution. It can be for podcasts, it could be for any services you provide. And they do offer some additional ways of interacting with the creator. So you could have exclusive like Q&A sessions. You can get advanced versions of the content to be delivered. You can really set up different tiers of subscribers so that depending on how much people feel like contributing, you can meet them all where they are. $1 a month, $5 a month, $20 a month. You know, I might be happy to pay $5 a month to get some kind of level of content. And some others would love to pay $20 a month if that meant that they could occasionally get like advanced previews, for example. So I think these are good things to consider.
Good, good. The next topic we want to go into is the direct sales aspect. Here, what you're doing is, I mentioned, you're implementing your e-commerce platform. Many use Shopify, WooCommerce, services like that to set up the storefront in your own website. So here you have maximum control. You're not beholden to a service provider like Kindle Vella or any other service provider for changing your pricing. It's all up to you. So there's no
Suddenly
surprise.
deciding that your account is suspicious and shutting you down.
Exactly. Exactly. There's, many options here. You can, for example, offer your serial fiction clearly the top choice, which is going to be in digital format. But you have options and this gets into kind of the monetizing, marketing, things like that. But you can sell bundles. You can sell figurines if you want of your story, whatever it takes, whatever you think your super fans will want. And of course, the goal is to get the super fans because if they're a super fan, they're probably going to buy the majority of what you're selling. So super fans are the goal.
Target audience. So I will say you had discussed there are some examples of these platforms like Shopify. Are these actual platform names that you
Mhm.
mentioned?
Oh yeah, Shopify is huge. Yes, and it didn't started out just basically selling anything, but a lot of authors are moving their direct sales to
Mhm.
Shopify. Yeah.
Yeah, I do have to say that it's interesting when I look at the difference between a subscription model and a direct sales model. It does seem to, for serial authoring, subscription based models do seem to be like a better fit because direct sales, correct me if I'm wrong, it sounds like there's more overhead per product release. And if you're
Mhm.
selling smaller modules of a product, it seems direct sales seems like a little bit of overkill.
Yeah, it really depends on the amount of control you want and maybe the uniqueness of some of the things that you're offering. For example, part like of the direct sales is very relevant to authors. We mentioned digital format, but what if you want to sell print? Well, then as a direct sales do it yourself person, you got to figure out, okay, who's going to print it? So there's various services out there that print on demand services that'll do it. Are you going to package it, put it in a box and send it yourself? Your
Yeah,
help from your family, significant other, spouse, children, pets, whatever to help you
that's with
do this.
thumbs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear you. Okay. Well, that's a pretty good, these are good considerations. So, all right, let's move on to, if you feel like we're ready
Yeah.
to move on to the
Let's
next
go.
topic.
Yeah.
All right, marketing and audience building. So, there's no way to get away from this. If you want to be an author who actually gains some kind of revenue, trade marketing and audience building is a necessary part these days. So, I think the most important thing, dun dun dun, is still an email list, which I have to admit, I know that we're from a generation that uses email. I keep hearing these rumors that email is dead, but it still seems to be pretty relevant for authors.
It is because for authors, it's the primary connection to, for most authors. But I would say the lion's share because yes, there are authors out there that have Instagrams and TikTok videos, but that's the smaller percentage, right? Yes, some are successful with it, but the kind of the staple that works for almost everyone still today is email list. And because especially when you get to super fans, we've talked about it before, but if you can get 100 or 1,000 super fans, you have an author income. It depends, how many figures you want in that, but 100 in that neighborhood, you're good. And the way that you communicate, you have new things to offer your super fans. The most effective way still is that email list, direct communication. I heard recently, and I don't remember the name, but some authors were talking about email lists, and they said, um, it's a way for you to communicate as if in your newsletters, as if your reader is your best friend. Tell them what's going on in your life, your author life, and give them the nitty gritty details that your super fans, because they want to know about you as an author. And that's
Is
the opportunity to do it.
I think as I'm reviewing, right? Because you can build an email list. And I think one of the other ways you can market an audience build is through social media engagement. But if we think about this logically, you're an author, you write things. Your audience is people who read. So,
Yeah.
in that sense, it almost seems like communication through an email list would really be your strength in terms of a medium for reaching the people that you want to read. I would think that social media engagement, which does seem to be the hotness right now, for you to really access like a larger group of fans or super fans, it seems like a pretty big commitment in terms of building up a social media presence. And I'll be honest, if I wanted to try to be some kind of influencer, I would have been attempting that as opposed to writing a book, which is a lot closer to where my joy is. So,
And not everyone, including myself, but not everyone has the temperament, desire, openness, if you will, to want to be a social leader. I don't want to make TikTok videos. I don't think no matter how popular I might get as an author,
mhm.
I don't think you'll see steaphankay TikTok videos um, out there. So it's
Yeah.
also a personality thing too.
Okay. Well, but for those of you who are very savvy on this front, there's some really great ways that you can share content through there. Obviously, it's going to be you yourself sharing some teasers or insights, or even making those progress updates. And again, much like the comments that or tips for doing an email, you still also can share and engage about your personal life. You could engage with your readers and in different ways there too. So you'll definitely be more visible.
Yep.
Yeah.
The next one then is content marketing and search engine optimization. These are important because you can have all of your greatest platform that you've painstakingly built. You've got your commerce set up. You're sending out email lists and giving away freebies and offers to your super fans. But if no one knows your site is there, what you're selling, how to buy it, then you're nowhere.
Right. You're like that single blade of grass in the lawn.
Exactly. Exactly. I love your metaphors. And so what we have to do is when we make our posts about what's going on and we make our news, even newsletters, because there's lots of different services. We could have a whole episode on news list services out there. We'll save that for another time. But when you have your posts, you want people to be able to search the web. There are maybe potential new fans that don't know about you to be able to find your content. Maybe there's someone looking for the type of genre, tropes, maybe special offers that you're going to put out, the freebies that we're talking about. Maybe there's people out there searching for that. You want them to be able to find it. And so using like the Google Search Console and technologies like that and making your direct sales website crawlable. You've heard about the browser robot things that you can put on websites that say, "Hey, yeah, you can crawl my website." These
Mm.
are things that you want to do, and you want to look at that so that you can establish that online web presence and authority for your genre and what you create. What other things you want to think about, Helen?
Well, actually, I wanted to just touch back upon one example you said was to write blog posts that complement your fiction. I do think it's important as an author to branch out and kind of share your opinion about your craft or related topics to your work, because that is really another way of doing exactly what you said, which is actually drawing audiences through your site because they happen to hit you up on a Google search that was related. I myself have actually run across a fair amount of authors because I was looking into something or researching something that was, a topic I wanted to learn more about. And then having it actually linked to somebody's site who also happens to write and create more content that is somewhat directly or indirectly related. So it does sound like more work because it is more work, but it's necessary.
There is a tie-in here also to the social part of it, because your major social sites, of course, they've optimized the heck out of everything. They've got it down to a science. Social sites will pop up, and that's why it's important to link your personal assets, your author assets, web assets to your social. and get that kind of
Yeah.
synergy between that
Yeah.
optimization.
Yeah. Whatever you do, make sure they can find your work at the end of it.
Yep.
Okay. So yeah, content marketing, a pretty serious. I think what I would say is, if it sounds intimidating, if you're going to be doing a DIY self-publishing, at least have a plan, right? Nobody says you have to put out a full-blown marketing strategy that touches all the corners of the internet, but you should at least consider what it is that you're able to do. If you're going to set up your own website, are you able to commit to, a weekly blog about related things, or just decide where it is you can kind of dip your toes in, because it's important to do.
Get us into the monetization part, please, Helen.
Of course, visualize yourself. You're wearing a top hat. You have monocles. You're Scrooge McDuck, and you have a vault full of money that you can swim in. Okay. And let's start talking about monetization strategies now. So there's two. When we say a monetization strategy, obviously we're talking about that vault of coins you can swim in. There's two ways to do this, right? You can make money either from your books or your serial fiction, and you can also make money by merchandising. So, Stefan, I will let you dig into
Yeah.
some more of those details.
Merchandising is the part I was talking about, where you can have your unique value, your unique author personality expressed in items that you, I hate to use the word sell, but that's what we're here to do, sell to your super fans. So
Mhm.
it could be bookmarks. I've seen pretty much everything. I said action figures. It could actually be action figures. If you're writing action based graphic novel of some sort, you might have something like those.
Yeah. And what I really like about that is it could be a lot of kinds of art. I know that you enjoy expressing yourselves through different mediums, through music, through drawing. And I feel that being able to have people buy some art, which is actually, people I know do this. They love buying art from online, like illustrators and animators. It's something that decorates the house, and it's a way for your audience to demonstrate support for you. I know the popular option is T-shirts, but which is also very cool. But I'd rather see art on the T-shirt. As
Yeah.
big fan of art. Anyway,
Yeah,
yeah.
no, but it's endless, the different things, and it builds loyalty with your super fans. It gives you your author brand. I'm not selling my book art yet. It's definitely out there, today yet, but coming soon. Hmm.
Yeah.
So,
And I
keep
think
an eye on
people
my website. You'll see it soon.
And if you're worried about this component, I would say that I know we've talked about different ways that you can make money from selling your books, but when it comes to merchandising, I think we've all seen sites like, what is it, like Cafe Press, or I can't remember some of the others, where basically you're just required to provide the image that you want to sell, and then they provide all the items and the shipping to
Yeah,
have people decide what they wanted on a mug, a
yeah,
hat. Yeah.
everything. Yeah, that's the great thing about the time that we're in as authors, because everything is on demand production pretty much. You can find some organization service out there that will make all of this trinkets and things easy to design, produce, sell, and deliver to your reader.
Yeah.
So it's very good. Um,
All right.
so I think that's part one. Or
Yeah, that's
um,
part one. Hopefully, everyone has a sense of what aspects of business you need to consider if you're going to do a DIY self publish, also known as, I guess, the way old traditional model.
mhm,
um, just remember, you've got to consider how you're going to make money, uh,
mhm,
how you're going to market and reach your audience, and further on how you might want to additionally monetize beyond just the direct sales of your book. So there you have it. Stay tuned for part two, which is going to be the technical parts of publishing your serial fiction or whatnot, to cover website setup, content delivery, user analytics, and growth and scale.
all right, that sounds exciting. Okay, well, thank you everyone for listening, and we will talk to you soon. Bye.
We hope you're enjoying this podcast. You can help others find us by rating this show, leaving a review, or sharing a link. We invite you to read our serial fiction, In the Arms of the Void, available on Kindle Vella.